It's suspense, isn't it? I mean, this is a suspense thing. That's the Hitchcocky thing. I think Hitchcock had a thing about suspense is the central thing which keeps... That's what he understood. That's what he thought was the central driver to all screen plots.
Iris, you've got a brain that's off the scale.
I need you to come and work with me.
What's the puzzle that needs solving?
Thrilling. It's unpredictable. It's character-driven. And it's sun-drenched with Italy.
Yeah, it looks familiar. It looks reassuringly like, oh, this is sort of in the sort of Bond zone of kind of international, glamorous, thrillery, dangery things. But then it's very original, has its own voice, own music, which is Neil Cross's own particular brand of humour and flipping the world on its head slightly.
I wanted to make something which, in its fundament, in its bones, actually is quite an old-fashioned piece of TV. I want to do a glamorous, thrilling, chase crime story. And fundamentally, that's what it is. It's a chase thriller in lovely places with clever people doing dastardly things in witty ways.
And I think the central thing is Niamh, who is playing the character that, in the 70s would have been played by Steve McQueen or any of those sorts of...
They couldn't get him.
They couldn't get him. They tried. Well, they can, of course, now. With no, let's not say that. Well, anyway, she's playing, what the male hero would have normally been. So now Niamh's doing that when she's doing it magnificently, and that makes the whole thing much more interesting. Makes it truly fresh, I think.
Iris kind of came to me. I write primarily as a novelist. And Iris, the character, kind of came to me first. And I really like the idea of having a woman anti-hero, which is not something we see a lot of. And someone who, as you say, has that kind of steeliness and that mischief and that cleverness. And it's to take that character with that kind of slight moral chill to her and that slight moral distance and create all kinds of mischief and trouble for her. So really that was the jumping off. The Iris Affair as a name came quite late in the process and wasn't my idea. I had no idea what to call it. It had the working title of just Iris for the longest time.
You had half of it there.
Yeah.
The bulk of it.
It was, Iris was surveillance, that was the...
I really appreciate the interest and everything, but I'm not the person you're looking for.
Haven't even told you what it is yet, or what it pays.
It won't matter. Jobs and I don't mix.
Why, you get bored?
Partly.
Is it a compulsion, then, solving puzzles?
Listen, I'm not a Rubik's Cube, Cameron. I'm not a crossword puzzle you don't get to solve me.
No, I'm not trying to solve you.
You only understand the character when you can put them through hell or put them in a scene with someone else who's going to challenge their morals. I think that informs you a lot about the person. Iris is tricky because she's not conventional in the sense that she doesn't display emotion as we typically expect to see it. And it's kind of trying to play against the predicted stereotype of a female character. And so that was important to not copy what's already been done or what's expected.
The surprising thing with Niamh was a tessellation, which in my experience was entirely unique in that we both saw the character in identical ways. So working with Niamh was like we found our Iris in the most miraculous way possible. She completely inhabited that Iris, and off she went like a guided missile. And with Tom, the process was almost completely different in that I'd created a bad guy, and he was a bad guy. And you don't want to write a bad guy who thinks they're a bad guy, but that was who the character initially was. But watching Tom play him kind of unveiled layers of kind of vulnerability and tenderness and fear and anxiety and humanity and kindness. Unexpected kindnesses would pop out of him like a bubble in a mud pool. And so while Iris was an exocet, the character of Cameron changed in the process of making the show.
There's a great scene, and it was our first scene together that we shot, and we're talking about the night sky. And Cameron asks Iris a very simple idea of like, what do you see when you look up at the stars? And he talks about wonder and the mystique, and she looks up and she's like, all I see is reality. And I thought that was very clear as to both who these people are. And
that's interesting. Yeah.
And
I'd
how they
completely
see the
forgotten.
world.
Is that in it?
Yes, and that was the first thing we shot together. And that kind of informed...
Inside?
Yeah, in the bunker. It comes later on, but it happens in the past.
I see. Okay. Well, so what that puts a finger on is that Cameron is romantic, and
He's
you're
the
not
romantic,
romantic. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
How's Sardinia?
Oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. You should keep it that way and not come.
I have to say, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's a weird place for a fugitive to hang out. Such an intelligent one, anyway. An island with limited points of ingress and egress.
The point of a random choice is its randomness.
Oh, that's right. You didn't want to be predictably unpredictable.
Well, we all kind of want to be the person who can go be elusive and go on the run and have the whole world trying to find them, and that would be really fun to play and throw, give them a helicopter or a Ferrari or guns and let them go play.
It's suspense, isn't it? I mean, this is a suspense thing. That's the Hitchcocky thing. I think Hitchcock had a thing about suspense is the central thing which keeps... That's what he understood. That's what he thought was the central driver to all screen plots, the creation of suspense. And Neil has nicked that, I think, probably. So that's what this show does, maybe, something like that. That's what it's trying to do, I think.
I'm going to use the word vibe in about 3 seconds. So really it was a vibe more than a specific single reference. If there were a single reference, it would be North by Northwest, or maybe To Catch a Thief, or any of those kind of... Would you imagine To Catch a Thief with a kind of peppering of the talented Mr. Ripley, with some of the persuaders in there, with Tony Curtis in the bouffant wig. There's something about the morally flattening attributes of the Mediterranean sun that, for some reason, perversely, if you have a bright enough sky and a beautifully cut enough suit, you can get away with morally abhorrent acts. So that was that's really the mood board, which is how dark can we make it while keeping it nice and light.
Adopted. Well, Nick, no, appropriate. Why not? I mean, everyone does. Everyone borrows. Not suggesting in any way that Neil is a plagiarist. Of course he isn't. And now that sounds like I don't mean it, but I do. No, he's... Oh, shut up.